Hello everybody and welcome to your 29th Allegro HD tutorial. And in this tutorial we're going to be learning about an interesting topic that a lot of people do not teach. And we're going to be learning about keyboard combinations or input sequences or whatever you like to call it. And what this is essentially going to teach is that we're going to be inputting codes that we want to detect, and if the user inputs those certain codes, then we react to what the person has entered. This can be useful if, say, you've implemented, say, cheat codes in your game and you want them to input a certain sequence, whatever, to unlock certain cheats, or you have a battle system where you want them to do certain combinations in order to do special attacks or to do double jumps, etc., etc. So this tutorial is a very dumbed down, simplified version on how to do it, and is not the most effective way to do it. I'm going to be teaching the least effective way right now, and then I'm going to be teaching the more effective way in the next tutorial. So it's good to watch both so you get grasp both concepts and see which one is better for you in your kind of game. Because if your game only requires what I'm going to be teaching you right now, then you can go by with this kind of code. Because the next tutorial is going to be teaching more complicated code, more lines of code, and therefore it could take longer to finish. If your program only requires these types of code that I'm teaching right now, then by all means you can use it. You can modify it to suit your needs in any way, shape, or form. So let us get right into the code. So right here I have included the Allegro library and the string class. And don't worry about this timer routine. This isn't like the regular timer routine that we've created before for our update loop. I've erased the update loop because I've rewritten the whole code all over again. So just to recap, we initialize everything right here, and I've created four variables. One being the input, to check the input that way the player puts in. Okay, simple enough. The time span, to see how much time you have to actually put in to designate input. So this is set to 5, meaning that we have 5 seconds to do input, and if the 5 seconds runs out without doing one of the actual combos, then it resets the timer. And then we have bool done equals false. That should be familiar to you. This is just for the game loop. And the combo identifier, we have it that it's an array of 3, and we say that if the person presses the Z key 3 times, it's the first combo. If they press the X key 3 times, then that's the second combo. If they press GHG, then that is the third combo. So for the timer routines, we lock the variable like we normally do. We lock the function, and we install the timer. So installing the timer is exactly the same, but in here we put BPS to timer 1, meaning that every single second the timer is going to increment by 1. If we were to put 2 in here, then every 2 seconds the timer variable would increment by 1. By 1. Or by the value that we specify in here. So right now in our game loop we say that if we press the escape key, then we exit the game window. You should be fairly familiar to that. Right here we say that if the timer is greater or equal to the time span, then we say that the timer is being reset by using an Allegro message box. We reset the input to 0, meaning that we can put a new input, and then we set the timer to 0. So we basically reset the timer, and I'll put a comment there, reset timer. So when I put this on my website, you guys will understand what is going on. So we say that if the key is pressed, then this should be familiar to you. We say that the value is equal to read key and 0xFF, basically changing that to an ASCII value. Now you know ASCII values can represent any value on the keyboard, even lowercase and uppercase values. So if if the caps lock is not enabled on the user's computer, and we press the values, then it will return lowercase values unless they're pressing the shift key, which most likely they won't be pressing. So what we want to do is that we want to say input plus equals to upper value. So we make sure all the values are uppercase, so then when we compare it to these values, it checks to see if it equals that, and if it does, then it has done the combo. Now with Allegro, there is a way to actually enable the caps lock key to turn it on the user's computer when your program starts or within your program, but that is a less effective way than to upper, because they disable the caps lock right before the combo or something like that, then it couldn't greatly affect your program. So we stored what the inputted key was into upper. Then we have a for loop that cycles through all the elements within our array, and it checks to see if our input is equal to our combo. If it matches one of the combos, then we say that we've activated the combo, and it says the combo number that we've activated. And if we've activated the combo, then we reset the timer to 0, and we reset the input to null, to a null string, therefore meaning that we can actually do another combo. So that is basically it for this tutorial. I'm going to be showing you what is going on, what's going to happen in the program. Now one last thing that I should show you is that it says you have activated the comma number the percent sign I, and then I have a comma I plus 1. This is basically a C command, and letting us know that we're going to be inputting an integer value here, and with the comma we put in the integer value that we're going to be inputting right there. You can do that for strings, for chars, etc., etc. So that's just extra knowledge if you guys want to know about that. So if I run this program right now, just build it and run it. It's gonna take a while to build. So right now we're not gonna press anything. We're gonna wait 5 seconds, and a message box should appear after 5 seconds. Notice it says timer reset. So when you press OK, then it resets the timer again. Now if I press Z 3 times or Z 3 times, then that's the first combo. So it says you've activated combo number 1. And when I press OK, it resets the timer. If I press X 3 times, it says you've activated combo number 2. And if I put GHG, then it says you have activated combo number 3. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this, and the more advanced tutorials coming next. So bye for now.